Alright, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to Madrid Hub again. I'm your host, Dr. JOTA, and today we will keep talking about signings, transfers, rumors, speculations, and players that might departure from Real Madrid this summer. The first of all of them might be Jovic. I mean, he was so close to sign yesterday for Fiorentina, but apparently in the last moment, Real Madrid found out Fiorentina cannot afford the player, and by the way, is pushing to Real Madrid to meet their expectations and lower the fee and pay a part of the salary of the player, of the Serbian player, for next season. I mean, to me, this kind of choice, this kind of option is not acceptable by Real Madrid. I mean, every time you sit on the table to negotiate for the player, you are supposed to reach an agreement that is good for both parts, for both sides, not only for one. And there are so many teams out there completely bankrupted that are trying for Real Madrid and other big clubs to give them the players that they want without receiving any money in return. I mean, it's not fair at all. I mean, if you think about it, it's okay. I mean, it really doesn't matter. Real Madrid has more money, way more money than Fiorentina or any other big club like Bayern de Munich. I mean, if you cannot afford something, you don't buy it. It's as simple as that. In not only in soccer, but in life in general. I mean, I wish I could buy pretty much everything I want. But if I cannot afford it, man, I just look the other way and I assume the situation like a normal person. I mean, if I don't have money to buy stuff, I don't buy that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Well, apparently Fiorentina, and not only Fiorentina, but also Betis, which is also trying to sign Ceballos for the next season. It is so funny because Ceballos is worth 50 to 20 million and Betis only has 3 million to put on the table. I mean, Real Madrid has to say no. Loud and clear, no. Will not go to accept. We won't accept that ridiculous money for him. I mean, it's a completely nonsense. So let's see what happens with Jovic and Fiorentina, because we were assuming the player was going to play for them, but now I cannot confirm he will end playing for the Italian side, but let's see what happens. So now let's move on and let's talk about Marco Asensio. There's nothing new regarding to the player, but the latest update is Jorge Mendes is trying to enroll the player, whether Liverpool or Juventus or AC Milan, because they are the only two, both super big clubs really interested in signing the player. There are other clubs as well, like Arsenal, throwing a lot of money, crazy, insane money on the table for him. Yeah, I mean, it is said Arsenal is willing to throw about 80 million euros for him, but it's not pretty clear, right? So Arsenal and Manchester United are interested as well, but only two clubs are right now the front runners in the signing of Marco Asensio. Those are Milan, AC Milan, and of course Liverpool. But for now, there's nothing clear. Apparently the player really wants to stay in Madrid, but not at any cost. I mean, if Real Madrid doesn't put more money on the table, the player is willing to leave Los Blancos this summer. And to me, for most of the Madridistas, we would be okay with that, because we don't think Marco Asensio really fit the style of playing Real Madrid is adapting over the last year, or has been adapting or trying to adapt over the last year, right? So Marco Asensio is a great player though, but I don't think the way he plays, the way he moves the ball really fits the Real Madrid expectations. So to me, the best way for him, for both, I mean for him and Real Madrid, is for him to leave the club this summer. That is my opinion, and I think that the 50% of the, 50 or maybe 70% of the board members think the same way. So to me, the chances for Asensio to leave the club this summer are so high. And now let's move on, and of course let's talk about the most interesting news that we have regarding to possible signings, because Gnabry, the Bayern Munich player, hasn't said anything yet, hasn't responded to Bayern Munich as far as his future and the renewal offer that he has on the table from Bayern Munich, which means the player might be willing to leave the club this summer, and Bayern Munich as well, after the signing of Sadio Mane and the possible departure of Lewandowski, might be willing as well to sell the player right this summer. So to me, Real Madrid will be there. I mean, doesn't mean though we already have thrown any money on the table or even asked about the player, but just in case the things get worse and nobody is able to find the right solution for the player, for both the player and the club, to me, if they want to party ways and split their futures, I mean, I'm talking about Gnabry and Bayern Munich, then Real Madrid will be there. Real Madrid will be there, and of course, we will be willing to put a bunch of money on the table for signing him, for him to join Real Madrid right this summer. And it is a very, very smart choice considering the possible departure of Marco Asensio. Because for the right wing man, to me, Gnabry is the right choice. Very physical guy with great numbers, 26 years old. I mean, there's no better option that comes to my mind right now other than Gnabry. So let's see what happens. We will have to wait a little bit, but to me, there are a lot of chances for Gnabry to become a Real Madrid player and really soon. So let's see what happens. So now let me know your thoughts about that. Just comment in the section below, and of course subscribe my channel.